Hi guys, and welcome back to the Deck Builders. Today we are playing with Gambit and Rogue. So we unboxed them the other week, and links to the unboxings can be found on the screen now if you want to check them out. Today we're taking them for their first test run against Rhino. So Rhino, nice easy villain, we know exactly what we're getting with him. And this is just a straight up precons from both Gambit and Rogue. So Gambit Justice and Rogue Protection, just against Rhino standard with Bomb Scare, nothing too crazy at all. So yeah, without further ado, let's start. The game is all set up. So we've got Rhino. Rhino 1 has got 28 health because there's obviously two people involved. We've got the break-in as the main scheme that's currently on show. We've got Anna-Marie, so we've done the whole set your touch upgrade aside. And we've got Gambit, Remy the Bow, all here. So, without further ado, let's give the cards a shuffle, actually. So, yeah, really like the look of these two heroes. I think that Gambit might be amazing in an aggression deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just because of the whole charged counters and his ability to deal some crazy sort of damage that way. And then, yeah, Rogue is... I'm not sure what I make of Rogue just yet. I don't think protection is quite for her. But I could be wrong. Feel free to let me know 5, 6 in the comments or on any other sort of social media if you think, yeah, that actually Rogue protection is amazing, or if, you know, Gambit aggression might not be as good as it's going to be. So, we have got... Okay, so we've got some interesting cards in Gambit's hands. We've got 2 copies of Mutant Education, Charged Card, Royal Flush, Stealth Strike, and Beauty and the Thief. So probably not as big an opening hand as I wanted, but nice to have Beauty and the Thief all ready to go. And Rogue's 6. X-Gene, yeah, very nice, that's cool. Defensive Energy, Preemptive Strike, Defensive Energy, and Rogue's Jacket. So nice we've got Rogue's Jacket there. We've definitely got some things that we can kind of work with. So let us go first. Gambit is going to go first, or Remy the Bow currently is going to be player number 1 for me. So this is where I haven't spent too much time even looking at their decks really. But so we're going to flip into hero form, and then as an action, we're going to place 1 charged counter on Gambit. Let's use War Machines. War Machines damage icons for now. So 1 charge counter on him. We're then going to yeah, I think we're going to play charged card, which is going to cost 2. So I think we're going to use 1 Mutant Education and 1 copy of Stealth Strike, I think, for 4 damage. We're not going to... I'm going to leave that on there now, the one on there, because we've got Royal Flush in my hand, which I'd quite like to use to get his maximum potential out and see what we can do. But, so charge card is going to deal 4 damage, and then we'll also attack with Gambit for his 2 to do a total of 6 damage. So, Rhino's down to 22. I'll keep it off camera over here, just so I stop reaching over the camera the entire time. So, yeah, we're then going to keep the other 3 cards because I actually would like to keep them for now. And we'll move over to we'll stay in hero form. Yeah, we'll move over to Anna-Marie. So Anna-Marie is also going to flip. Don't know why I wouldn't on turn up. So attach touched to another character. So let's attach touched to. So we can either... I can't attach it to a minion to gain over 2. Attach it to the villain and gain Retaliate 1, or I can attach it to a hero and gain Stalwart. I'm going to attach it to the villain just for now. So Rogue is going to gain Retaliate 1. We know that Rogue's he's going to attack this turn. So we are then going to play the X-Gene. So that's going to cost 1. So we're going to use the Preemptive Strike to pay for X-Gene. I can't do that actually because I can only do that if I've got Mutant Trait. So let's go back. we'll play it whilst it's there. And then we'll do everything that we've done. We'll just use X Gene first. And I'm going to spend the resource for X Gene. So exhaust X Gene to generate a wild resource for an identity specific event. It's not an event. Okay, so I can't do what I wanted to do. But we are going to use a defensive energy to play Rogue's Jacket. So while the touch is attached to a friendly character, Rogue gains +1 thought. Whilst it's attached to an enemy character, Rogue gains +1 attack. And then Rogue's going to punch into Rhino for another 3. So we're doing work already. End of the turn. So these are going to ready up. So touch stays on it, I believe. So after the player phase begins, find touch and set it aside. Yeah, so it stays on there. Let's draw up. Rogue's obviously now up to 5. Nice, okay. That's a nice looking that. And Gambit's also getting 5. Oh, man. We drew another copy of Royal Flush, which I probably didn't want now. I definitely didn't want now, in fact. But that's the so they're the hand side. So the break-in gets 2. Let's not use actually. Let's use a colour. It might be easier to see. So that gets 2 on, and then Rhino is going to attack first. So first he attacks against Gambit. Gambit is just going to take. So yeah, we're going to take this at the minute. Yeah, we're just going to take it. So it's 1, 2, 2. So that's kind of okay. The only thing I think I'm not sure about Gambit is he could die quite easily against a really good attack one if he's not defending or anything like that. So might need some allies to come to his rescue. Rogue is also going to take the attack. So she's got Retaliate 1 because of Touched. But it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 damage to Rogue. And then 1 damage back to Rhino because of Retaliate. 1 encounter card for Gambit. Deadly Touch, give to the enemy player. If Touch is attached to a friendly character, deal 2 damage, discard the card. If it's not attached to an enemy character, place 2 threat on the main scheme. Okay, so we're up to 4. Discard this card. Luckily, that's not attached to Gambit. And then we've got Hydra Mercenary, so it's got 1 attack, 0 scheme, 3 health, but it's got guard. Yeah, end of the turn. So, end of that turn, touch comes to one side because of the force response here. So, let's move on. It says Rogue's turn. Rogue's turn, Rogue's turn. So, I think we know what we're kind of going to do here. I definitely was going to use Preemptive Strike in the attack last turn, but I didn't. And now I'm kind of happy I didn't, because so Rogue is going to attack the Hydra Mercenary, and it's just going to punch him for 2. In fact, no, let's not do that. Let's attach Touched to the villain again. So now Rogue has got 3 attack because of her jacket. And then we're going to punch for 3. Kills him. And then we're going to... So we're going to use the 1 resource from X Gene. Plus we're going to use defensive energy. So that's 2 to play energy transfer. So attach touch to a character other than Rogue and deal 2 damage to that character. Oh, I've done this wrong. Attach touch to a character other than Rogue and deal 2 damage to the character. Do I? No, we're not going to play that one. Because the only other person I can put it on is Gambit. So we're still going to use the 1, 2, and we'll play Preemptive Strike for a Southern Cross. So it's deal 6 damage to an enemy, and Rogue has got Retaliate because that's attached to the villain, which is then going to stun the enemy as well. So nice. So 6 damage. So Rhino goes down to 12, and then he is Stunned. Where are my stuns? Stunned as well. So yeah, that's quite nice. And then that's all we're gonna do with her. She's gonna stay in hero form because she's nothing bad is gonna happen to her because the Rhino is stunned. So over to Gambit. So first thing we're going to play is, so we're going to play Beauty and the Thief, which is going to cost 2. So we're going to use an operative skill, and I'm going to use 1 copy of Royal Flush. So deal 4 damage to an enemy, and then remove 4 threat from a scheme. So 4 damage to an enemy, 4 threat from a scheme. We're going to use his ability action, charge the card. Put a single charge counter on it. And then I'm going to play Mutant Education. I'm not because I'm not a mutant. I keep forgetting that they're not mutants in hero form. So we're going to, we're just going to pop him for 2. He's down to 6. And then we're going to flip into Remy LeBeau. So my understanding is that the charge counter stays because there's nothing that says remove the charge counters. Again, just let me know if maybe I've done that wrong. And then we're going to play Mutant Education because we're in mutant mode. So choose up to 2 identity specific cards in your discard pile and shuffle them into your deck. So we've got Royal Flush, charge the card. Going into there. Stick 1 there, 1 there, something like that. Shuffle them, and then it will say if X Mansion is in play, I can draw a card. X Mansion isn't in play. And then that's the end of the turn. So, yeah, we're going to ready up here. We're readying up there. We are just going to get some more tokens ready. So the tokens are generally all from buy the same tokens. So do check them out if you're interested in. I've got a nice little pile of tokens over there of all sorts of different things that make some awesome stuff. So nice, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for Rogue, and then up to 6 for Gambit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cool. So I've got a really good hand here with Gambit. I've got, give you a quick show, Creole Charmer, the Thieves Guild, Rogue, Strength, Expansion, and Royal Flush. Obviously can't use Rogue because it's a ally and she's already in play. And Rogue's hand, I've got a Strength, Judoka Skill, Superpower, Adaptation, Energy Transfer, and Iceman. So I'm looking forward to what we get from there. So we're putting 2 threat on the main scheme. Naturally from Remy LeBeau. Sorry, not from Remy LeBeau. From the natural 2 that goes on. And then Rhino would try to attack Rogue. Unfortunately, he can't because he's stunned, which is great. And then he's going to scheme then against Remy LeBeau. So 1 scheme plus 2 scheme. So 3 in total. 3 in total goes on there. And we're up to 5. So not too bad. And then encounter cards for Rogue. Encounter card for Remy. Rogue's is crowd control. So this just gets, let's put this over here. 2 threat plus for each player. So 4 threat on there in total. It's got the crisis icon. Nothing too crazy. Hopefully we can get some threat removal from here. And then 1 for Gambit. Shadows of the Past. Dun dun dun. Wow. So, when revealed, reveal a set aside Nemesis minion and put it into play with you. That is Belladonna. And then reveal a set aside Nemesis side scheme and put it into play. Force response. After an assassin minion attacks and defeats the character, place 2 threat here. So this is so we've got 4 there, and that's giving us an acceleration token. So something to try and get rid of over the next couple of turns. And then we've got the 2 Guild Assassins and the Assassination Attempt we're going to shuffle into the encounter deck. And then Belladonna's got Quick Strike, which thankfully is doing nothing because I'm in Alter Ego mode. But she does come in with a toughness on her. So, toughness is on there. So, not as good as I'd hoped it was going to be. But we're going to move over to everyone's favourite Raging Cajun, over to Remy LeBeau. So, I'm going to use this Remy LeBeau ability. It's the first time I've done this. Exhaust Remy LeBeau and look at the top 2 cards of the encounter deck. Discard one of those cards. Remove threat from a scheme equal to the number of boost icons on that card. So, top 2 cards of the encounter deck. We've got Charge and Court of Guard. So, I'm going to get rid of Charge, which is going to remove 2 threat from a scheme. We have to remove it from crowd control because of the crisis icon. But it's okay, because I've got this great plan. We're then going to done it in a bit of wrong order, but you know what I've done it now. We're going to use Strength to play Creole Charmer. So remove 3 threat from a scheme. Just got to come off that one. If this removes the last threat from that scheme, confuse the villain. Awesome stuff. Confuse the villain. I'm then going to play. I'm going to use the Thieves Guild and Rogue to pay for the expansion. And then expansion as an alter ego action, exhaust expansion, heal 1 damage from any mutant character. That's going to come off of Remy because he's not as tanky as I'd like him to be. So he's back up to 8. Rogue's still over there on 7. We're not doing anything. He is exhausted from his ability. Nothing to Belladonna. But we're hoping that Rogue might be able to do some touched damage to him. Or her, in fact. So, yeah, over to Rogue. Let's see what we're going with here. So, okay. Interesting. We've got some interesting choices here with Rogue. So, we know that we want to kind of get rid of Belladonna or do the 4 threat off of the Assassin's Guild. So, see, Iceman would have been cool to have in then. So we are actually going to use. We're going to pay 2. So we're going to use Strength to pay for. Strength and Superpower Adaptation to play an Iceman. So Iceman is played with 3 freeze counters on him. You're going to have Hawkeye looking arrows. After a minion enters play, remove a freeze counter from Iceman and stun the minion. We can then attach touched to. You know what we're going to punch? We're going to punch Belladonna to remove the tough from her. Do you know what? No, let's do this in as best in order as possible. We're going to punch Belladonna with Iceman. So Iceman is going to take 1 damage and it's going to remove the tough. We're then going to attach touch to the villain. So Rogue, touch is an attack to an enemy character. Rogue gets +1. Rogue's then going to punch Belladonna, which is going to do 3. And then I'm going to use X-Gene. So exhaust X-Gene to generate a wild resource for an identity-specific event. And pay Judoka skill to do an energy transfer. So attach touch to a character other than Rogue and deal 2 damage to that character. 2 damage to Belladonna. Is going to kill him. Kill her. I assume that this becomes touch to no one. It comes back over here. Heal 2 damage from Rogue and ready her. So Rogue is up to 9. And then it says you gain the attached character's traits until the end of the round, which is not going to do much. And then she's now out of cards. So we're going to punch. Rhino's confused, so I'm not fussed about Remy. We are going to... I'm not fussed about the main scheme, therefore. So we're going to punch Thought of, in fact, 2 from the Assassin's Guild as her action. So, end of that turn. Turn 3, I think that was. So, quick rundown on the state of affairs at the minute. Rogue is on 9 health. Gambit is on 8 health. And Rhino confused on 6 health. Which is quite nice. And obviously we've got Iceman in play for Rogue. So 5 cards for Rogue's hand. Aura McTaggart, nice. Southern Cross, Bulletproof Bell. That's a nice card. Not Today. And Judoka Skill. And then 6 cards for Gambit. We've already got Royal Flush, so it's only another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got another Royal Flush. So we've got some nice looking stuff here. And we've got the ability to take off a lot of thought potentially with some of what we've got here. So I think we're going to have a good turn next turn. So, over to Rhino. So Rhino's going to activate 3 on here, naturally, because of the acceleration token. He's then going to try and scheme against Gambit, but he's confused, so no dice. And then attack Rogue. So Rogue is on 9 health. She's just going to take this. 1, 2, 3. Because we knew what that was based on Remy being able to look at it and get rid of the card that he wanted to get rid of, which is awesome. And then, yeah, over to encounter card time. So 1 for Remy, 1 for Rogue. Remy says, hard to keep down. When revealed, Rhino heals 4 damage. If no damage was healed this way, this card gains Surge. Okay, Rhino's back up to 10. Just to keep track of where we're at. And 1 for Rogue. Rogue, attach to Rhino. 3 fist resources to discard the card. Gives him +1 attack. So, not so hot there. But, no minions, which is great. So we're going to be able to do some great scheming. We're on 8 out of 14 for the break-in. So we probably need to do some threat removal up there. But we've got a good plan for this coming turn. Let us go. So, over to, yeah, Rogue becomes number 1. Let's put touched on Rhino. And then let us do let us play. So let's actually just try and punch down Rhino. So I could take Rhino out in this turn, but I think it might be worth doing. So, Rogue attacks for 2. Iceman attacks for 2. He takes another damage. 1 more and he dies, but the plan now will be he stays alive for as long as possible to take off or stun minions as they come in. It's actually, sorry, Rogue attacks for 3 because touched is attached to an enemy character. And then we're going to play 1 from the X Gene plus Not Today and a Judoka skill. So it's 3 in total to Southern Cross. Deals 6 damage to an enemy. Over to. So Rhino down to 0 for Rhino 1 at least. And we're on to Rhino 2. So Rhino 2 goes up to 3 attack. Just says search this encounter deck and discard file for the breaking and taking side scheme and reveal it. I know breaking and taking's in here because I think it was the second card that we drew. Was indeed. So breaking and taking comes in with 4 threat on it because it's 2 plus the 2. And then we will now we punch Rhino as quickly as possible. So 15 hit points per player. So Rhino's on 30. And we are done with Rogue, I think. She is all good. We're going to keep Moira McTaggart, and we've got Bulletproof Bell in our hand for his attack next turn, which will be quite nice. So over to Rhino. Over to Remy, sorry. First thing we're going to do is Expansion. Heal 1 damage from Remy. So Remy's back up to full health. Back up to 9. And then we're going to... So we're going to play Breaking and Taken. So play if your identity has the Spy or Thief trait, remove 3 threat from the scheme. We're going to use another copy of Breaking and Taken and also a Passion for Justice. So when you spend this card to play a thought event, the event removes 1 additional threat. So we're removing 4 threat. Everything off there, thank you very much. And then we're going to do the Thief Extraordinaire. So exhaust, remove the bow, look at the top 2 cards here. We've got Bomb Scare and Stampede. So we're going to put Stampede back on the top. Remove Bomb Scare because it will remove 2 threat to get rid of the Assassin's Guild. So now we're just dealing with 1 there. But we're going to flip over into Gambit form. And then we're going to do Charge the card. Put another 1 on him. And then finally we're going to play Royal Flush for the first time using another copy of Royal Flush and an energy resource. So place 1 charge counter on Gambit. So he's now on 4. And then when you play an attack event, remove up to 3 charge counters from here. The event deals +1 damage for each counter removed. So I'm going to remove the 3 that were on there originally. Leaves him on 1. So deal 3 damage to an enemy. 3 to Gambit. 3 to Rhino. Deal 3 damage to an enemy. Deal 3 damage to an enemy. So 9 damage from Gambit there, which was very nice. Although we are now going to take a Rhino punch in the face, which is not going to be as fun as I'd hoped it was going to be. So end of the turn. So I think that's cool from Gambit. Royal Flush is cool. I just think that for him, the reason I say I think he'd be good with aggression is because of this attack event. Currently, the only attack events you're playing are his base or his unique signature cards. So you add an aggression deck in there, and he's probably able to do the attack event, remove a charge counter every turn, which is going to be awesome. So up to 5 for Rogue. Cool. And then 5 for Gambit as well. 4, 5. Cool. So maybe not the best turn for Gambit next turn, but we can do this. So we lose the acceleration token because of it's not there. So that goes up to 10. So he's going to attack Rogue. So when an enemy with the touch, so we're going to spend 1. We're going to use Karma to play Bulletproof Bell. So when an enemy with touch attached to it attacks, prevent all damage and gain a tough status card. So he does still attack, so he does get a boost card for it. We know what the boost card is. It's 1, but she gets tough. Then he's going to attack Gambit. And Gambit, I think I'm going to defend. Because I'm going to use Natural Agility for this one. So when you defense against an attack, place 1 charge counter on Gambit. For each charge counter on Gambit, you get +1 defense. So he's now on 5 defense. Obviously, Rhino's attacking with 4 plus 1, 2. So Gambit's taking 1 from that one. He's down to 8. And then that was done. Then 1 card, encounter cards for them each. So 1 encounter card for False Alarm, you're confused. So she's now tough and she's confused. And then 1 for Gambit. Assassination Attempt. When revealed, each assassin minion attacks you. If there are no assassin minions played, search your encounter deck and discard off for an assassin minion and reveal it. So we're going to put in this Guild Assassin. So after a minion enters play, remove 1 freeze counter from Iceman to stun it. So I believe that triggers before the freeze counter triggers before the quick strike because that's a response after a minion enters play. Cool. I'm going to play it that the minion enters play, Iceman stuns him, and then the quick strike would happen. But so the quick strike then happens and he loses the stun. And doesn't attack, which is how I'm going to play it. If I'm wrong, let me know. Let me know what you think. So over to my turn, and it is Gambit first. So he's obviously not in a good spot. Let's get the counter just for the sake of having another counter. And then, yeah, a little bit concerned this turn about what I'm going to do. So I'm going to use we're going to play Gambit's Guild Armor. We'll play using Bishop, I think. And then I actually can't do anything else with those other two. So Gambit is done. Is he going to stay in hero mode? Yes, I think he is going to stay in hero mode. He's got 8 health, so we're okay for a turn. This comes off of back to here. And then we're going to so I've got Warren McTaggart, Energy, and going Rogue. So I think what we're going to do is she's confused though. So we're going to punch the Guild Assassin for 2. That's the easy option. Or should I? Yeah. Oh, should I? I'm looking at trying to take some threat off this turn. So you know what? I actually think we do a basic thwart to remove the confused. She's got tough, so she's going to stay in this mode at the end of the turn. And then maybe I should have flipped down with Gambit. Yeah, let's go back. We'll flip down with Gambit, because that way I can activate expansion with him. So I'm going to heal 1 damage from Rogue. Or in fact, I'm going to heal 1 damage from Iceman. So I can heal it because he's an X-Men. It doesn't have to be a hero, which is awesome. Because that way, Iceman can punch the Guild Assassin for 2. And then we can attach touched to him. Because I don't know why we wouldn't do. And then I'm going to play... This is a good turn. So I'm now going to use the 2 resources from energy to play Going Rogue. So Going Rogue is remove 3 threat from his scheme, and then Rogue has got Retaliate because touch is attached to the villain. She gets to confuse an enemy as well. So we're going to remove 3 threat from that, and then we then confuse. Where are my confused tokens? There they are. Confused token on Rhino. Because this way, Rhino will not scheme against Remy, and he'll attack Rogue, but Rogue has got tough, so he's not going to take any damage at all. So, I'm happy. End of the round. Draw 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 6 for Gambit. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So we're gonna have a good turn now. I think next turn as well, and then that is going to ready up as well. So natural 2 go on here. So we're now on to 9 here. He's then going to try and scheme against Remy, but he's confused, so nothing happens. He's going to attack Rogue for 4, 5, 6. But we've got tough, so that pings off. I don't think I've done this once, but she's got Retaliate 1 because touch is attached to a villain. So he is down to 20. And then that is that part done. Encounter card time. 1 for Remy, 1 for Rogue. Remy gets a Hydra Bomber. When revealed, choose to either take 2 damage or place 1 threat on the main scheme. We are going to put 1 threat on the main scheme. because I think we're going to have a good turn next turn. And then for Rogue, but he's coming in. We're going to stun him with Iceman. And then, when revealed, hero, the villain attacks you. Oh, that's a shame. So, he attacks me. I'm going to use the X gene and Bulletproof Bell. When an enemy with touch attacks, prevent all damage to it and give it a tough status card. So he would get 1, 2, 4. So he would do 6 in total, but Bulletproof Bell is going to prevent it, give her a tough. Oof, okay. So, back over to Rogue for her turn. So, we are going to... we're going to use 1, 2 to pay for Moira McTaggart. No, because it's not got the mutant trait. This is how we do it. So touch is going to go attach to Remy LeBeau. She gets the mutant trait. Pay 1, 2 for Moira McTaggart. She's now got +1 thwart, so she's then going to thwart 3 off of here because I'd like to do some damage control over there. And then over to Remy. So, first thing we'll do is we'll do expansion to heal 1 off Iceman. Do I want to heal 1 off Iceman? No, I think we're going to heal 1 off of Rogue. So Rogue's going back up to 7. And then we are going to play... Oh, this is a tough one. So we're going to use Gambit. We're going to play Gambit Staff with 1 from Dazzler. So when an enemy attacks, exhaust Gambit Staff and deal 1 damage to the enemy. And the question is, do I want to? So you know what we're going to do? We're going to do his Thief Extraordinaire ability. And we're going to take... I need 1. So we're just going to get 1 damage, 1 threat, off of the main schemes. We're down to 6. Then I'm going to flip into Remy to Gambit. We're going to get a charged card for another 1. And then we're going to use 1, 2 from Molecular Acceleration. And then 1 from Passion for Justice for 3 in total for Professor X. So, when you spend this card, put a charge count on Gambit. So he's now up to 5. And then, when Professor X enters play, confuse the villain, stun a minion, already an X character. We are going to... Do you know what? We're going to ready Gambit. And then we're going to do 2 damage. We're just going to punch this Hydra Bomber. I think in the face. Because we know that. And then Professor X is going to thwart 3 off of here. So we're now down to 3. And he takes 1 damage from it. But it's okay, because he's just here to chump block for me next turn. And I should have done this. After a mutant Augury changes to hero form, exhaust more attack of that heroes. I'm going to draw a card. So let's do that. See if it will make a difference. No, it would not. Yes, no, it would not. So, end of the round. Ready up, ready up, ready up, ready up. So, yeah, really liking these so far. I think, Gambit's my favourite X-Men. I've said that in videos before. Rogue, yeah, protection doesn't seem like it's her forte currently, but yeah, there's some really cool protection cards. Iceman's awesome. There's a couple of a couple of stronger stronger cards in protection, but also in every aspect, I think. I'm not 100% sure protection is quite for her yet. So 2 on here, because we're putting 2 on it anyway. Rhino is going to attack against Rogue, first of all. She's got tough, so it doesn't matter what happens. 1. And then he's going to attack over here. Professor X is my defender for 4, 5, 6. Professor X doing what he needed to do. And then we get 1 here, 1 here. 1 for Rogue. False alarm, you are confused. Okay. Something like that over this side would be pretty nice as well, to be honest. I'm tough. Give Rhino a tough status card. If he already has one, he gets Surge. So. And then I should have done this when an enemy attacks exhaust Gambit staff, deal 1 damage to the enemy. Still learning about these things, you know. So we're down to 19. 19 over there. So we are then going to move over to Gambit. So let's work out. So touch is coming off. Let's go over here. So we've got, I think it's a bit of a punch as much as we can do, you know. So we're going to play. So we're going to use charged card, which costs 2. So we're going to use operative skill and hit and run. So deal 4 damage to an enemy for this attack. If Gambit's throw the card or ability are removed at least, we're going to do at least 2 counters. So that against piercing. So he's down to 3. So it's 4 damage with piercing. So no one cares about tough. 4 damage to him, down to 15. And then 8 health for Gambit. So we're going to do his ability to give him another card, another counter even. And then I've got 2 2-cost cards in my hand, which isn't great. But I think what we're going to do is, because we're still in, I think we're going to just naturally attack Rhino for 2. So he's down to 13. And I'm going to flip into alter ego mode, so that we can ping X Mansion to heal 1 off of Iceman. I'm doing that right, aren't I? Exhaust X Mansion, heal 1 damage from any mutant or X-Men character. Iceman is X-Men. Cool. So yeah, that is me done there. We've still got those 2 cards in hand. Then over to Rogue. So Iceman's going to punch for 2. Yeah, I really like this. I really like this little combo of expansion, healing, and keeping your minions, keeping your allies alive. So we're down to 11. Maybe we could do it in this turn. Maybe we can do it in this turn. I think we could. If we can't do it, we'll find out pretty soon, won't we? So we are going to put touched onto Iceman to start off with. And then we're going to pay 2. No, I'm going to be 1 resource short. So let's see what ones I actually want to get rid of. So we're gonna play energy transfer by paying with going rogue and unflappable. So it's attach touch to a character other than rogue and deal 2 damage to the character, heal 2 damage from rogue, and ready her. So before we do that, let's punch Rhino for 2. He's down to 9, we're getting there. And then energy transfer to put touched onto him. He's down to 7. Ready's rogue and she heals for 2. She goes up to 9. And we're going to punch for another 2 down to 5. And that is the end of 8. Another 1 because of Rogue's jacket. He's down to 4. Such a shame. We could have, we almost had it this round. But that is the end of the round. End of the round. Everything ready's up. Draw cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it going to be Gambit or is it going to be Rogue that finishes it off? We'll find out next turn. So we're going up to 7 threat on the main scheme. Rhino is going to attack, is going to scheme, in fact, against Remy. Yeah, I've got nothing that stops that. For 1, plus his 1 is 2, so he's gone to 9. And we're going to attack Rogue. This could, so we're just going to take this. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But we're going to play Preemptive Strike. So I'm going to play this. When a boost card is turned face up, spend 1 resource, which is what costs 1. Cancel the boost icons on the card, deal 1 damage to the villain for each boost card. So it cancels that, so it does 1 to him, plus she's got Retaliate 1. He's down to 2, which actually means he's only doing 4. She's going to take 4. She goes down to 5. And then, in counter card time, 1 for Remy, Guild Assassin, 1 for... Oh, man. So, he's got Quick Strike, I'm in Alter Ego mode, which is absolutely fine. Guild Business, give to the Remy LeBeau player. Exhaust Remy LeBeau and spend the lightning resource, remove Guild Business from the game. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to worry about that. We'll do the whole stun thing on him, though. Stun thing on him. And then over to me for what is going to be the last turn. Let's just see if we can properly clean up house. So, 2 damage to the Guild Assassin. Yeah, that was actually... and then, do you know what? Let's just do X-Gene plus Not Today plus Armor for Southern Cross, dealing 6 damage to Rhino, punching him square in his chops. Yeah. So that was Rogan. So just for anyone that was wondering sake, Remy finished on 8 health. Rogue's finished on 5 health. There's a load of stuff I could have done in Remy's turn. I've got another Molecular Acceleration. I've got a Charge card out of Creole Charmer to remove a load of threat. Flipped Charge card. Probably could have done maybe a Breaking and Entering or a Stealth Strike. But yeah, really initial impressions. I like Gambit. I like the fact that he doesn't lose his charge cards when he flips down. Not his charge cards, in fact, his action charge counters. Jeez, it's late. So yeah, I like the fact he doesn't lose his charge counters when he flips down. Again, if I've played that wrong somehow, please tell me, because it doesn't say anywhere that he does lose it, unless I missed that in his little rules. But yeah, I do think aggression is probably going to be the way to go with him, just from the whole can deal additional events, additional attacks and damage with all the attack events. Obviously, Gambit's staff is a weapon, so potentially a deck that has a couple of weapons in. You know, Royal Flush, I think, you know, I like Royal Flush. Is it game breaking? I don't think so, but it's ultimately a 3-cost event for what is probably at least 6 damage. You're definitely, you know, if you can pull it off and get 9 out of there, then that's pretty awesome, but it's definitely at least 6. A charge card is also pretty cool. But as you saw there, I kind of had plenty of charge counters on Gambit throughout, mostly because you don't flip down. Rogue, I think Rogue, you know, Rogue's 15 signature cards are where she really shines. You know, going Rogue is cool. It's 2 cost for either a 5 threat removal or 3 threat and an enemy. Or probably not going to do 3 threat and draw a card, unless you need 1 resource for something. But 2 cost for 3 and a confuse or 5 threat removal is awesome. Obviously, I didn't get Gambit out at all, but Southern Cross is another one. You know, it's 6 damage and stun. In reality, I think that stun is the way to go with the Southern Cross. And then obviously energy transfer is great. Just be mindful of what I did and make sure you've got someone that you can actually attach it to. And then bulletproof bell is the last one. You know, when an enemy with touch attacks, if that's on the villain's just not attacking, and you're getting a free tough status out of it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I really liked them. I would like to see what decks we can put together with them. Gambit aggression, Rogue, realistically could probably be in any of the aspects. I might see what she looks like in maybe leadership, or I might just go with it and go protection. It's probably my least played aspect, so we'll see what it is. Anyway, if you're still here, thank you very much for watching. Like the video, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Let me know your thoughts on Gambit and Rogue, and we'll see you next time.